Greetings, I am Ken McAuliffe, the Jazz Vinyl Audiophile, here today to do a couple unboxings and I guess what you could call an unveiling because there's no box. I opened a package this morning not having any idea what was in it. I thought it was going to be a piece of gear and it turned out to be some records, so I'll show you those. But first up we have this Jazz is Dead box. Now, I guess the normal person would assume that inside a Jazz is Dead box are Jazz is Dead records. But we'll find out. I've never received their records before. Oh, this is cool. Ken McAuliffe Vinyl YouTube channel. You know, I write for Stereophile, and I did write for Jazz Times before they collapsed. I wrote for Downbeat for many years. I think I probably will again in the future. But I get much more coverage and action, and I think viewership and response from my channel than I do any of those print publications when it comes to reviewing jazz records. Anyway, so it's great people are sending me records for these purposes. And every record that I'm sent, I do an unboxing on, and I will review. Like I did the unboxing on the Dorothy Ashby box set. I'm going to listen to a lot of that during this week and do a review on it. The packaging on that looked incredible. So let's see what this is all about. I'm assuming it's a Jazz is Dead title. I don't know what. Jazz is Dead, Lonnie Liston Smith. I love the cutaway and the inner jacket slides out. The main folks behind Jazz is Dead, Ali Shaheed Muhammad and Adrian Yonge. Let's open this up and see what this looks like. And there you have a Tony Allen. Oh, that's very cool. See, I don't know how long this has been sitting there. I was in and out of hospitals for 3 weeks. And I'm just... you know, and back at home and trying to deal with all that, and it's quite challenging to say the least. So it's taken me a while to get to these records. But number 17, Jazz is Dead. There's Lonnie as he is today, I guess. Very cool. Covering Love Brings Happiness, Cosmic Changes, Gratitude, I Love, Love Can Be, Fete, Kaleidoscope, What May Come. Complete your collection. Jazz is Dead. Oh, there we have all the jazz titles. Huh, well, I'd love to get the Gary Bartz. And the first one, the Doug Karn. I've seen these on CD, but I've never had them on vinyl. Catalyst, wow. Phil Randall and Wendell Harrison, Azimuth, wow. They're doing such cool stuff, and to me this is a real gateway for both contemporary punters to get into old jazz artists and for the older jazz artists to get exposure to today's audience. The production on these and the approach I think is really beautiful. Here's Tony Allen, number 18, Jazz is Dead. I'm sure it will look similar once we get it inside, but let's take a look at that beautiful bean footage inside. And I'd be really curious to know in general of you who are watching this video, great picture of Tony Allen. Of course, Tony Allen, the famous drummer from Fela's band. That's who I associate him most with, even though he did have an album on Blue Note recently. But I would be really curious to know what the viewers here think in general of these Jazz Dead releases. It's funny, it's actually the opposite. They are showing that old jazz is fully alive. Same cover with a few different artists. Garrett Sriracha, who I don't know. Gene Carn. I mean, just looking at these, I would love to get all of these. Marcus Valley. Wow. But I'm really curious to know what you all think of the whole Jazz is Dead, you know, contemporary production, modern players with classic jazz cats. Do you think it's a winning formula? Does it really, is it viable? Obviously, it's become very popular. I'm just curious to know, having not heard all of these, even though they did send me the CDs for a while, what do you all think of the Jazz is Dead approach? And, you know, the musicianship, the interpretations, the sound quality of these recordings. Be curious to know what you think. Jazz is dead. So wow, they go full steam ahead, don't they? Let's box these up for now. And then Candid Records has been on a tremendous reissue campaign. They've put out so many cool records here over the last year or so. Reissues of Otis Spann, Charles Mingus, Abbey Lincoln. They've done really, really great stuff. And this, I believe, is their latest offerings. And this time around, it's a little more different, I believe, or a little bit, yeah. Kenny Barron Trio, Ray Drummond, Ben Raleigh, obviously a young Kenny Barron. Ooh, double LP, remastered by Bernie Grumman, 180-gram vinyl. Kenny Barron, Ray Drummond, Ben Raleigh, the classic trio. I always associate Ben Raleigh with Monk, so this should be really phenomenal. And you know, Kenny Barron is a pretty rare artist to find on vinyl. You know, because he was fully coming into his own, I believe, in the late 80s, all throughout the 90s. So most of his stuff is available on CD. I love Kenny Barron's playing. He's very fluid, just a contemporary, state-of-the-art, classic jazz-oriented player. So that should be exciting. Stacy Kent, who I'm also a really big fan of. If you don't know Stacy Kent, she is a beautiful young woman. She sings in a very high-pitched, beautifully toned, super articulate. I don't know who I would really compare her to. There's nothing husky about her voice. She's kind of like a ballet dancer in the way she sings. Very graceful and very, very rhythmic. She's extremely adept at singing bossa nova because she's so light on her feet. Stacy Kent, The Boy Next Door, remastered by Bernie Grumman. I don't know when this is from originally. A collection of songs associated with some of Stacy's musical heroes, from Tony Bennett to Paul Simon. I'm a really big fan of her. I think she has a dedicated following because she sounds like no one else. Her pure, high-toned voice. You know, it's funny thinking about it. So many contemporary female jazz singers have kind of husky voices. Cassandra Wilson, Carmen Lundy, Nora Jones, definitely Diana Krall. There aren't many young female jazz singers who have kind of a lightness to their approach, which recalls me of Beverly Kinney, which had a very light approach. Even someone like June Christie had a slightly darker voice, and Helen Merrill definitely had a dark voice, but June Christie was really, really playful. So I don't know who she comes out of. I mean, she comes out of the American Songbook, but you can identify Stacy Kent in a heartbeat, and I love her stuff. I don't know if you do. Joanne Brackeen, a very adventurous player. She has since passed away. With Cecil McBee and Billy Hart, Snooze on Candid. A very advanced player, very adventurous. I don't know enough about her to say she's out of this school or that school. She passed a couple years ago. This was originally 1991. Wow, she covers Nefertiti by Wayne Shorter, Circles by Miles, her own tune, CSRI, Zulu, her own tune, 6/8 by Joanne Brackeen, Old Devil Moon, that's a standard, then Snooze. I'm really looking forward to hearing this. We would get her records in often at the Jazz Record Center, but not these days. But a very adventurous player. You know, there aren't that many female jazz pianists out there to begin with, so it's great that they reissued this. I mean, the Candid label has so much important, solid, meaty jazz. Now, some people might say Jamie Cullum is neither solid nor meaty, that he's a pop singer. But I reviewed and interviewed him for Downbeat for an album he did that was basically like something out of a prestige early 50s jam session groove. All live, great tunes, almost not Dixieland, but it definitely had that wide open feel of a post-big band, but not modern bop. So I believe this is his debut, and I know nothing about this. So all UK players, so we'll check it out together. And then finally, and I was really excited to open this, and I just opened this box like half an hour ago, a Shirley Scott record. Now, in the heyday or the following of the Resonance Records Shirley Scott record, which I personally thought was a total fucking dog that should not have been released. I mean, I'm getting kind of harsh because I love Shirley Scott. That record upset me because, except for one tune, Impressions, it did not show her in her best light. It had a bunch of moments that just didn't need to be reissued. But it is interesting that Zev Feldman thought, okay, Shirley Scott has name recognition, and if anything, that the Resonance release helped to showcase what a great player she is. Now, this record, I don't know. This is later in her life. Shirley Scott, a walking thing with Terrell Stafford, a wonderful trumpet player, Tim Warfield, Arthur Harper, Aaron Walker. So I think this was recorded sometime 1996. Doing Carnival, DT Blues, Walking Thing, When a Man Loves a Woman, What Makes Harold Sing, Shades of Boo, How Am I to Know, Remember. I am extremely excited to put this on. This must have been one of her final recordings. I was not even aware of this. Most of these Candid records I'm aware of and I've seen before. So, but this, wow, I'm just really excited about. Heavyweight stock, you know, post Music Matters and Tone Poet, nobody who's doing reissues can get away with thin stock, crummy sleeves. Okay, beautiful sleeve. I can never remember the name of this sort of sleeve. This very thin, light, almost like rice paper, but this is the best stuff because it doesn't stick to your records. Double LP. I never put these things back in, so I don't know how to do it. I always put these in another sleeve. So I'm really excited to hear this. Oh, apparently she did, after a splendid piano trio outings for Candid, Blues Everywhere, and Skylark, this is her third record. And while we're at it, why don't we open this Kenny Barron as a gatefold as well. Let's open that. Once again, heavyweight vinyl. And everything has arrived in perfect shape. There's a little wrinkle there, but that's not the record company's fault. No photos, but stock liner notes. What about the Stacy Kent? Yeah, let's do this. So these are all gatefolds. This is exciting. I really love Stacy Kent. I mean, for some people, she might be a little too cute, but she has wonderful articulation. I can listen to her sing all day long. Very nice. Kenny Barron. The Joanne Brackeen. The other ones are not gatefolds. So, there you have it. Thanks a lot. I will be doing reviews on these records, a few of which I don't know at all. But I really am excited about the Jazz is Dead stuff. I'm really curious to hear what that sounds like on my hi-fi. Thanks a lot for checking in. And if you're enjoying what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. That helps me to move forward and to do these things while my ankle is broken and I'm recuperating and trying to keep my spirits up. Thanks a lot. Bye.